And welcome back. Let's talk about why liars leave out important details. Often what they don't say matters more than what they do say. So most people focus on what someone says, but investigators focus on what tends to be missing. Because sometimes the biggest clue is the information that never appears. And once you understand this, you hear stories very differently. Hi, I'm Steve Van Appen. Before we start, just a quick disclaimer. No single behaviour proves deception. There are always exceptions such as stress, trauma, memory limitations, ADHD, neurodivergence, shock, different communication styles. There are many things. We always need to look for groups or clusters, as I mentioned before, not isolated or one isolated behaviour alone. And these are scan-informed observations, not proof of deception. Okay, let's get into it. Now, one of the most important clues in deception analysis is omission. In simple terms, what someone leaves out, because deceptive people sometimes avoid detail that could expose them. Specific details can be checked, tested, challenged even, and that creates psychological risk when you're lying. Truthful people usually tell stories naturally. Details often flow without effort, even unimportant ones. But deceptive people can become very selective. They edit, they trim, they simplify. Let me show you how. Imagine, say, I asked, what happened after work? And the answer is, I left the office, went home and watched television. Sounds normal, doesn't it? But listen carefully. There's no timeline. There's no travel detail. There's no interactions. There's no transitions. The story jumps. Now compare that with, say, I left work around 5:15 p.m, stopped for petrol on the way home, spoke to the cashier, then got home around about 6 p.m. Now that sounds more like a lived experience. Research by Jason and Ray in reality monitoring suggests genuine memories often contain more contextual detail, information and format because the person actually experienced the event. Now that doesn't automatically mean the first person is lying. Some truthful people are brief, some are tired, some communicate minimally. But when important details are consistently missing, that becomes interesting, especially around critical moments. For example, someone describes an argument but never explains what started it, or they describe an evening out but never mention who they were with. That omission matters. Another important clue is missing transitions. This is where the story jumps suddenly. For example, I got in the car and then the police arrived. Hang on a minute. What happened in between? Why skip the middle? That gap can be significant, according to deception researcher Albert Vridge. Fabricated stories are sometimes strategically simplified because complexity creates risk. More detail means more chance of contradiction and the story falling apart. And psychologically, that makes sense. If someone is being deceptive, their brain often focuses on safety, not storytelling. So they unconsciously avoid dangerous areas. And that creates gaps. Another pattern is what we call selective omission. This is where harmless detail appears, but important detail disappears. For example, the restaurant was crowded, the music was loud, the waiter was rude. Lots of detail, but still no explanation about why they were actually there. That's important because deceptive people sometimes over-describe safe areas while avoiding the risky ones. I see this a lot. And once you understand omissions, you hear stories very differently because deception isn't always in what people say. Sometimes it's hidden in what they carefully avoid saying. So let's recap. Things to watch out for. Missing time, missing transitions, missing interactions, missing motives, and missing context, and selective storytelling. But remember this, we're not looking for perfect stories, we're looking for patterns because when deception appears, the story is often edited before it's even spoken. I'm Steve Van Appen.